Welcome back to the channel, guys. On today's video, we are going to be looking at this leaf blower. This is an Echo model PB500H. Now, there's been a constant issue with this where it bogs out. Fairly common problem on these. One of the issues it can be is the fuel lines that are going into the tank. They tend to loosen up on the ends and start sucking air in. But I did put clamps on those, and that didn't take care of it. It seems to fire up fine, but after running it for a few minutes, it tends to just bog out at full throttle. So the next thing we're going to try is changing the carburetor. I have this kit here, fairly simple kit. Comes with all the tubing, filters, gaskets, and even an air filter and a spark plug. And then they give you a couple extra bulbs for the carburetor, for the primer. So we'll go ahead and get that changed and see if that solves our issue. Fairly easy to do. I've removed the two nuts for the cover on the filter. So I've removed the filter. Now we'll go ahead and remove these two Phillips screws that are in here. And there's two more Allen screws here. Those are 4mm Allens. So we'll get those removed. The two Phillips screws are just holding this plastic piece on in front of the throttle here. And now we'll go ahead and get the 4mm Allen screws removed. Now these Allen screws are long and they go all the way through this air box and the carburetor itself. So that holds on everything to the engine head. Now once you have that, obviously you will have the fuel lines here. And we'll have the throttle cable here to remove. So we'll get those off. I was able to remove that carb from the machine completely. Now remember, when you do pull this off, once you remove this gasket, there is this another gasket piece here that goes onto that and on the back of the carburetor, which goes right through the gasket here. So you don't want to lose that piece. That's something that does not come with your new carburetor kit. So we'll be reusing that. And as far as your throttle, that comes off fairly easy. Once you tilt it, pull it right out of there, and the two fuel lines disconnected. Now we can go ahead and take our new gasket, get that mounted up, and with this gasket piece in there, and we'll get our new carburetor mounted. One thing I ran into while putting this new gasket on, this hole in the gasket that this rubber boot goes through was just not big enough. So I had to take a razor blade so it could fit around that. Otherwise that would not go through it. But that was an easy fix. Now another issue that I ran into with this carb was this throttle stop, or the throttle itself here, where your throttle cable hooks up to. The original one that came with the carb is completely wrong. It's pointed in the wrong direction. There's no way this cable would be able to pull the throttle. But luckily I was able to remove this from the original carburetor and install it on this new carb. And now that looks to be, it will function how it should. Luckily all that is the same, so you can't switch it if you got it. But if you don't have it, I guess the one that comes with it will not work. It's completely wrong. So now that we got that solved, we'll go ahead and put our throttle cable on. We'll get our gaskets back in. We'll get this carburetor mounted up. Now there is another gasket that comes with the kit, which should be for the air box, which connects to the carburetor here. But this gasket's also completely wrong. I may just end up using my original, which is in decent shape, or we can trim this one up to fit. But let's get this mounted and see what happens. One thing I did forget to mention is these rubber grommets, or the gaskets, are on both sides of the carburetor. So before your air box can go on, that needs to go on. Now we can go ahead and get the air box bolted up. So we have all the screws and bolts secured for our air box. Now we can go ahead and put our filter back in. That seems to be the right filter. We'll get that buttoned up. Now this kit did come with some filters, some new tubing, and a spark plug. But I'm not going to be changing that. I've already done that on this machine. So we'll get this buttoned up. We'll hit the bulb a few times, get the fuel to flow through. We'll see if we can get this thing fired up. Everything's back together. I was able to run this machine Unfortunately, it still has the same issue. It will run fine for a few minutes until it warms up, and then it will start bogging out again. I was able to adjust the air fuel mixture. Playing with that makes no difference whatsoever. But we will tear into it further, get this machine working the way it's supposed to. Keep tuned for another video. I thank you for watching.